Hello, my name is Kirioth, and today we are going to have a little chat about Dominion. Again, yes, I know, you're already thinking I'm going to turn this off, but bear with me, because we're not going to gush over models or talk about how good the box is or anything like that. No, instead we're going to ask why it doesn't seem to have done quite as well as some of Games Workshop's other releases. I'm thinking specifically Indomitus, Cursed City, there was that Sisters versus Dark... Was it Dark Eldar box? A while ago? There's been quite a few boxes over the last couple of years, and most of them have done pretty well. Most of them. Looking at you, was it Blood of the Phoenix that was Dark Eldar and Eldar and actually didn't do all that great because it was stupidly expensive? And Lumineth Realm Lords, actually, that was a box that just did not get any love. My local still has like 4 of those. They thought it'd do quite well. It did not. But Dominion I kind of expected to do what most Games Workshop boxes do, which is sell out borderline immediately. And yet, if you go to the Warhammer community site, you will see this, which, as you can see, clearly states that you get your free Coin Malleus command tokens if you buy Dominion. These are a limited thing. The Coin Malleus things, there's only a certain number of those. Eventually, these will run out, but you'll still be able to buy Dominion. And of course, Dominion is still available. It's right there, available for pre-order, and it's not out of stock. It's very much not out of stock. In fact, if you go to Element, for instance, there is still quite a few left. I mean, obviously, if you're going to buy the box, I would suggest getting a bit of a discount on it, which Element do, and I also have I'll shut up. So, this is interesting to me, because on paper, this feels like something that shouldn't necessarily happen with this box. This box is essentially the Age of Sigmar version of Indomitus. You've got a box entirely full of new sculpts, with kind of soft refreshes of stuff that we've already had before. There's the Stormcast Eternal side of the box, which has been redesigned. We've got a new character, we've got new sculpts that make them look that bit less kind of... I don't know. I've struggled to think of the right word to describe the new Stormcast versus the old Stormcast for quite some time, as you know if you've been watching the channel. But there's a definite difference there, a difference that I actually really, really like. And we had a similar thing in a way with Indomitus. We had like kind of the more decorated, the more kind of gothic, over-the-top power armor that we used to see from things like Stern Guard and Vanguard Veterans. We got those in the Blade Guard Veterans. We had the reimagining of the Space Marine bikes and the Outriders. You know, the parallels are very much there. With Dominion, there is a slight difference in that, of course, with Indomitus, Necron's got a significant refresh, which was really nice to see. I mean, Dominion goes one step further than that, though, because Dominion has introduced an entirely new kind of sub-faction in the form of the Cruel Boys. So they're still Aurochs, but they are different. They are their own thing, an entirely new army, effectively, and yet it's still available. It's still for sale. It has not gone out of stock. It did not vanish instantly the way Indomitus did. It didn't vanish instantly the way Cursed City did. Instead, it's still here. And I'm really curious as to why. I'm not sure whether it's a case of interest being lower than they thought, whether they massively overproduced in an attempt to avoid situations that they faced with Indomitus and Cursed City, although Cursed City I feel like is a special case because we're still not entirely sure why that happened. Lots of theories, I've read all the theories at this point, but we're still not 100% sure as to why that ended up not coming back or not being available for a second run. This feels different because this is a big deal. Like, Dominion is the box for the launch of the 3rd edition of Age of Sigmar. It is filled entirely with new sculpts, as these things always are. It also has the little benefits that you get from ordering from Games Workshop. It also has Games Workshop's, like, big kind of marketing push. They've talked about it quite a bit, for quite a while. They've had a lot of stuff in terms of showing off the models, giving insights as to how the models were designed. They had the unboxing stream on the Twitch channel that they've got. They've done every bit as much in terms of like marketing and pushing and, you know, doing the whole thing of, oh, it's going to go quick. We've limited it to 2 or 3 per person, but there's enough for everyone, but you need to get in there quickly because it'll disappear. And it's not disappeared. It's still available. It did not sell out immediately. It's still up, like, what, half a week later? That's pretty significant. That is genuinely pretty significant. Now, in terms of like why it's still available, there are a few different things. They may have overestimated demand. It might be that they thought people would be like absolutely frothing for this, but then it turns out that actually the interest just wasn't as high as they assumed. It could be that they've massively overproduced as well in an attempt to avoid what they've had with previous boxes. Now, if they have overproduced, that is, in a way, a bit of a problem in and of itself. One of the things that Games Workshop likes to do is do limited amounts of boxes, and then when they sell out, they're gone. They're not available as part of like the general catalogue. That's of course the reason why Cursed City was so weird. It's essentially the fantasy version of Blackstone Fortress, if you want to simplify it down to that degree. Blackstone Fortress was available for years, and Cursed City is not. That's why it's slightly different. But when it comes to a lot of the other boxes, it's available for this time only. Once it's gone, it's gone. You need to get in there quick. They of course have exclusive sculpts in the boxes, so that way they can sell more of them from the people who really, really want those models. And like this could be kind of bad if they did take a gamble. If they took a gamble and like produced absolutely loads of them, they looked at their previous stats and went, okay, well, they sell out immediately. Customers get really unhappy. They get really salty. For good reason as well. There's also the scalping issue. Like people buy them and chuck them on eBay straight away. Is this the fact that they implement that queue system? Maybe. That means that scalpers are just really struggling to get them, and so scalpers were buying all of them. I don't think it's quite that bad. But if they have kind of taken a bit of a leap of faith in producing way more than they would normally, because demand normally hugely outstrips supply, like to a significant degree. I think we've all been in the situation where we've sat there going, oh, this box, actually, I would like this box. And then you go on the website and you go to buy it, and 2 minutes, 5 minutes after it has gone up, the website's been staggering under the weight. By the time you get anywhere near it, it's sold out literally everywhere. Maybe they tried to avoid that with this, not just with the queue system for their website, but also by producing a lot more than they would normally. I mean, if everything you make in terms of these big boxes seems to vanish instantly, and then people get angry at you, I think it'd be fair to take a gamble once in a while and go, okay, these sell out straight away. They do really, really well. We make a good, significant chunk of money off these. But the fact is, if we made a few more, we could make a bit more. If they've gone that extra kind of step and produced maybe 3 times what they had before, and then it doesn't do well, it doesn't sell out, they don't shift those boxes are now taking up warehouse space, they're taking up storage. They don't want that. That's not what they want. They want to get rid real quick. That could end up being like an issue further down the line, because it could mean that essentially that kind of enforced scarcity, that just them not making enough, knowing they're not making enough, but not caring because they'll sell everything they make, that's been the norm for quite a while. It would be nice if we had a middle ground. It would be nice if we had a middle ground where they don't have to pay for storing it for God knows how long because they just didn't shift it. But it would also be nice for us not to sit there and have 5 minutes to get hold of one and then scramble desperately to find them because they've just gone out of stock literally everywhere before you've had a chance to do anything. There's got to be a middle point. This doesn't feel like a middle point. This feels like it's just not hit the mark. And that is honestly kind of baffling to me, because it does tick all of the boxes. It's a new edition box. It's got new sculpts throughout. It's got a reimagining of one of the most popular factions for the game. On paper, this should have done great. I mean, maybe it has done okay, but on paper this should have vanished just as quick as everything else. And yet, it hasn't. And it not only hasn't, it hasn't to the extent that the little kind of free thing that they throw in to incentivize you not getting the discount from third-party retailers is still in stock. It is still there. You can still get that. And I don't think I've seen that for quite a long time. I don't think I've seen a box that is this big do what this one has done, which is, I mean, on the face of it, underperform. And it's really interesting to wonder why. And I don't know. I would love to know. I would love to know what the actual figures are. We will never find out. That's a given. They're not going to say. They're not going to go, oh, well, actually, this is how few this box sold, this is how many we made, and look how much money we lost. They're not going to do that. But it's an interesting thing to think about, and it's an interesting thing to speculate about. And what I really hope is that it doesn't negatively impact how many boxes of this type they make in the future. Like, I hope this isn't a burn situation where they just go, well, we got burned with Dominion. We're not gonna take that risk anymore. We will just produce lower numbers because we know we'll sell them all. I would really hope that that isn't something that comes out of this, unless this is maybe a different approach altogether. It's weird and slightly baffling, but I would like to know what you think, what you reckon is going on with Dominion, whether you think that it's just not quite hit the mark, whether it's just down to a smaller player base, whether it's that people just weren't too interested in the new edition of Age of Sigmar. Although I don't think that's necessarily the case, because I've seen a lot of people talking about it and getting into it with the introduction of thirds. So yeah, let me know your best theories and best guesses in the comments down below. In the meantime, feel free to click all the things, Patreon, video, subscribe, all that stuff. Click it if you like, don't click it if you don't want to. And as always, there's an affiliate link in the description for Element Games, which you can use to support the channel if you would like. I leave it in your capable hands. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.